It Happened on the Job, the podcast for relatable conversations with contractors. Sponsored by Goodman Insurance.
Welcome to It Happened on the Job, episode 129. Today, my name is Mike. That's Brian.
Yo.
Our guest this afternoon, joining us from down in the San Diego area. Is that right? I guess I should have confirmed that.
In San Diego and Newport Beach.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
We got Jon Archer, president, founder, CEO, all of the above of Destination West Builders. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Good. Thanks for
thank you
coming
for
on,
coming
man.
on board, man.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Absolutely.
So we want to hear your story. Let's get it started with how you got started in this industry and what led you to where you are now.
Yeah, fantastic. I don't know how interesting it all is, but let's give it a go, right?
It's always fun. We'll pull something out.
San Diego native, grew up in San Diego, and then ended up tearing an ACL before a last bit of football in college, and went up to Chico State. Was fortunate enough to run into some friends that were older classmates that encouraged me to go to construction management. Took down a bachelor's in construction management from Chico State. Survived 4 years in Chico. And,
Wait, yeah. You mean you got out in only 4 years?
Yeah,
Is that...
4 years. Survived, got the bachelor's in construction management, kind of scored myself away, so I was able to come back and get a master's as well, but had been working for a company out of San Diego doing public works as an intern and traveling around doing public works projects for the military and in some of the high schools and elementary schools. You know, some wonderful places like Edwards Air Force Base, Fallon, Nevada, Yucca Valley, places like that. So kind of got my feet wet with a lot of ground up construction and building those types of projects. And then after a bit of a roundabout way, spent some time in Montana for 4 years building a 15,000 foot custom estate on 1,500 acres, and had a permanent crew there working and just building anything that my client wanted.
Did you say 15,000 square feet?
Yeah, he had a 15,000 square foot custom log home that we built from scratch, and then we built trout ponds, we built bridges, I mean, you just can't.
That's my dream. That's honestly, especially in
I
Montana.
feel like that's like Kevin Costner out in Yellowstone. You know what I mean?
It's an absolutely gorgeous property. So that was, coming from California to go to Montana and do that as a construction manager was a great opportunity, but also, really unique. And I've learned things that I'll never be able to duplicate again, just fantastic craftsmanship. So, and then fast forward, I guess right around the recession, came back to San Diego in Southern California and started a company at that point. Ran that for 14 and a half years. And then just recently, this last couple of months, refreshed, regrouped, and started Destination West. So off to the races again.
So was there a difference in kind of what you guys are doing before versus what you're doing now?
Not so much. I mean, still doing tenant improvements, a lot of corporate office throughout Southern California. Maybe just a different approach, I suppose. A little more, maybe just a little more aggressive, a little more broad regionally. So right now, already in our first, which is really just our first month, we have projects in Santa Monica, projects certainly in Irvine and Newport Beach, and then, rolling back to San Diego as well. So just a little more aggressive regionally. We're also, I've got some work potentially in Salt Lake City. So we're licensed up in Utah, and we're looking at some corporate work in Utah as well. So a little different approach. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all commercial work, nothing residential anymore.
Just commercial. We'll continue to build a self-perform team as well. I'm historically kind of definitely charged with running self-perform drywall and framing teams, and really enjoy that. Enjoy the family aspect of having employees, and plan to rebuild that as well. So it's exciting.
So I imagine kind of to get going as fast as you have, you're probably not self-performing a lot of the work right now, right? Managing a lot of subcontractors right now.
Yeah, not yet. Just kind of getting in a position where we'll be able to, and then have some really good contacts out there to kind of rebuild that and look forward to it. So it's exciting. Yeah.
So let's go through that process of finding, managing, maintaining that relationship with a subcontractor, doing especially work all over the place like you guys do.
Yeah, the biggest thing I can say is it takes time. It really does take time. I think what happened kind of originally, the history of what I have accomplished, like we started in San Diego and then we're pulled up to Orange County, pulled up to Riverside. And just over time, you have to put your time in to get to know the sub base, get the relationships in place, get the trust, and just continue to work with those folks until you get to know them and get the relationships and get the reputation. And at this point, I've been doing Orange County and LA for so long that I've got, a very good reputation with the subcontractors, but it definitely takes time. There's no quick magic bullet to get respect.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So what's your management team look like now, or how are you guys structured right now as far as how many people are in there helping you out right now?
I joke around. I went from 125 employees to one, and it's kind of exciting, I guess. Some people might say, but not exactly the route you may want to go, but it had to happen, and I'm positive about it moving ahead. But staying flat, was able to get a very key important person as a project engineer, project manager recently, and that's fantastic. Great team member. Got the project accounting set up. Project accountant was able to come over from another company as well. So that's building. First superintendent on board, 2 more superintendents in queue lined up behind, ready to go. So yeah, I mean, I'm good at going 100 miles an hour. Like that's what
I can tell. Yeah.
I'm not afraid, and I'm certainly not gonna let anything stand in my way. So we're gonna keep hustling and keep adding people as quickly as we can, and as quickly as the work demands it. The clients have been very responsive and going to continue to regrow the company, and it'll be fantastic.
So was there, sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
No, I was going to say, what kind of jobs are you guys doing in Orange County and Salt Lake City and San Diego and all that, Riverside?
Right now, I mean, obviously with COVID, it's a little bit challenging, a little bit dicey as far as the demand for office space. We are still seeing a lot of core work for buildings. Landlords are still doing some of the core, taking advantage of that, whether it's restrooms or corridors. But to answer your question, some corridor work. I do have some TI, which is like traditional,
right.
a company expanding, and then some repositioning work in Santa Monica, more exterior repositioning a building, several floors of TI that are upcoming with the client, but the building's being repositioned. So I think you're going to continue to see that, some repositioning and some core work, unfortunately, until the TI comes back.
What if the IRS and the work compensation insurance bureau aren't listening? Was there something like some sort of impetus for the restructure, or was it just kind of rebranding and
it was just a partnership change?
Yeah.
Really.
Okay.
And just 14 and a half years and just ready to make a change and move forward. So and just get something that's sustainable. It's very, very important to me to have a company that's sustainable and in a position to grow, and really give support to the employees and give them the opportunity to grow the company, and that's what we're building.
So it sounds like you've been able to find some pretty key people pretty quickly too. Where are you having most of your success kind of doing that, finding those guys and girls?
Gosh, like immediately right out the gate, one of my clients recommended a super that she was enamored with, that just felt like really strong, support for, and thought, hey, this is a great person for you. You guys are a great fit. And immediately that, we put 2 and 2 together, and that fit. And so I was able to get him right away. Great service attitude, great technical attitude. So that was quick. And then certainly through connections with subcontractors, I'm getting recommendations from my subs, architects, just all my clientele is just really starting to step up to help me, pull back with some great people and rejoin. Just regroup with a new company and with new people, and some old people that I know and have worked with, and then some new. A good example, I've got some assistants coming in from Arizona, a person that I used to work with she's a great marketing person. She had done a tremendous amount of work in Southern California with commercial furniture, so she's stepped on board. She's a stay-home mom, but she's going to help out with the marketing from Arizona and just continue her networking and help us grow. So kind of getting creative, you want to get big fast, but stay small, right?
Well, I feel like getting creative, people have kind of been forced to do that over this last year, right? Especially with what's going on socially. I guess maybe answer this. Would you have been comfortable with somebody doing like something like that from home, 2 years ago? Or is it the way things are now and the way things have been force companies to be a little bit more flexible with those kind of things, and also the technology catching up to be able to, keep in touch with those people. Is that something that has made you more comfortable, or would you have always been open to that?
I'm pretty traditional in that I want to work with people. I don't think I've missed more than 2 weeks from the outset of COVID as far as like stay home. I'm not a big stay home person.
Yeah.
I don't have an office at home. I don't plan to. I like to be.
I don't feel like you do. I mean, yeah, you're like 100 miles per hour with your hair on fire. Yeah.
That's not my thing. So, but that said, with the technology changing, which construction is, as we all know, has been well behind for so long.
Very long.
Finally,
yeah.
with the technology catching up, with the attitudes changing a bit. Like I said, I want to be bigger, but I want a small footprint. So if those tools are available to me, I'm going to take them. I'm going to definitely take them. And this worked out great. I mean, she's remote. If it weren't for our discussion, she would be content to be a stay-at-home mom and do her thing. But in this case, hey, can you give me some time? Yeah. I'd love
make
to.
A little extra,
for her. So I think it opens up some opportunities, for a lot of people that they may have considered that they couldn't work remote, and now they are. But we're going to stay traditional, stay in the office, hustle, be in front of people. I think that's really, really important still for the most part.
So maybe talk a little bit about that marketing aspect and what her role is going to be and what your visions of that are. I mean, I feel like marketing for a lot of contractors is really, hey, my name is good, my reputation is good, and that's all I really need. You're seeing that was kind of the old school way, right? You're seeing a lot of it recently in the last few years with Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and a bunch of other stuff that, contractors are getting a little bit more out there with some of that kind of stuff. So where do you kind of lie on that spectrum, and what do you see the plan being for you guys?
It's a good question. I mean, I think historically you're right. There's been the good old boy network and a lot of that. I've never really been much of a part of that kind of thing. More hustle and being in front of people and getting work and as far as and getting estimates in front of people, having those opportunities. I think not a huge fan of, or I should say maybe just not experienced with, the Google ads and some of those types of things. And I'm sure there's some great avenues, but I think our hustle is going to be contact, just full contact, definitely some of the social media and business software that we can contact each other with is great. But staying in front of people, just being aggressive, staying in front of people and showing them samples of what we do, examples of the work, examples of the estimating, and just really showing them that, hey, this is professional stuff. And I've always been someone that I hope that people want to work with. It's not a marketing gig. It's not any kind of sales pitch. It's you want to work with great people and you want them around you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we like to be.
So this marketing person that you have in Arizona, I sounds like more, is she going to be more like in the business development aspect then, kind of maintaining relationships and helping you out of there as far as kind of getting your foot in the door with some new clients and those kind of things?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been very quick and impactful. Yeah, no, it's definitely going to help. I think, obviously we're in full contact mode. We're estimating every day. We're bidding every day. We're walking projects. We're starting projects. So that's a full-time gig right there as far as just keeping up with it. So having that extra layer to just help with the marketing a bit, a few more touches is really going to be important for us to help.
Yeah, I was on your website earlier, so you guys got a pretty slick website too. I mean, from a contractor standpoint, it's probably a pretty high up there as far as efficiency and the way it looks.
Yeah, we're not, I think it's funny. We had a discussion on this on marketing, since you're asking the questions about it. The websites have never been really something that drives a lot of work in the commercial construction from my standpoint. I think now with the advent, I think that the avenue we're focusing on is keeping those things that are dynamic, that are current, and kind of focusing more on those, just so we're more in front of people with current information instead of some static website that doesn't change. That's so much work to update.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest key that a lot of people need, especially in the commercial aspect like you're in, right? I mean, I don't know that your website or your social media or anything, those aren't going to drive people to pick up the phone and call you and ask you to come work for them, right? But it's almost like
a validation.
Yeah, like a digital resume or a validation kind of tool, right? Like, hey, we're legit. These are some of the things we've done. These are the people we've worked with, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. Yeah, I mean, it's a validation, but the relationships, as a lot of people will talk about, I mean, they may not proceed with it, but yeah, relationships are critical.
Yeah.
You've got to. Bottom line, one person told me a long time ago, people buy from people, and it's like you got to have that relationship, whether you sell equipment or construction services or software, whatever you sell. There's a whole bunch of other people that do the same thing, but you have to have the relationship in place, and people will buy from you because they trust you.
Yeah. So is that kind of where you see your role being in the future, kind of maintaining those relationships with your clientele and kind of develop them?
Yeah, definitely. But I'm not I'm a grinder. Like I want to PM, I want to manage projects. I like being involved. I like doing estimating. Like it's important.
Doing
to
it
me.
all,
So,
huh?
yeah, it's right or wrong. It's something that's enjoyable to me. So there's no sitting back and playing golf in that regard. It's a hustle. So yeah, a little different vibe, I guess. But yeah, I enjoy it.
Well, no, I mean, you
I
got
was
to get
gonna
up.
say, yeah.
You got to get out of bed every morning enjoying what you do, right? So, I mean,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you like doing that kind of stuff, I mean, you might as well. When you own the company, you can do whatever you want, right? When you can
yeah,
pick any role you want to pick, you might as well
Yeah.
do the ones that
yeah.
get you excited to get out of bed every morning.
I like the hustle. I've always liked it. I like working hard, and that's enjoyable to me. And vacations are fantastic, but short ones are just as good for me. And I enjoy that. Short
Well, I
ones
have to
are
imagine
good.
from an employee morale standpoint, it's probably helps quite a bit to know that you as the owner are down in the trenches, so to speak, with everybody
Yeah,
else, like grinding away.
I think it's very, very important. I
Yeah.
do, and for any young guys, young companies, young ladies, anyone coming out with new services or new companies, it's super important. You have to stay involved with what you're up to, and you got to be involved. You can't just dial it in. I mean, you just can't.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe go back to kind of when you got out of college a little bit. I mean, I feel like there's obviously two very clear roads to, or not very clear, but two more predominant roads to owning your own business, right? Like there's the people that, hey, my family was in this, it was my family's business, and I grew up in the business and I took it over. Or there's the ones that they go the education route and they come out, higher up, maybe not spending as much time in the field or swinging the hammers, but kind of go the back office road into management. So in those early years, what was it like? What were some of the things you took away from? Because obviously you have to learn those things, right? Those field things and those field aspects.
Yeah.
Were there just kind of maybe talk to that learning process, what it was like, kind of getting your feet wet and understanding that part of it?
I do. I remember, I mean, distinctly, certainly there's certain things you have to do as a young person when you get out and to get that experience. So I do remember doing all the CPM scheduling for a project during the day and project engineering all day, and then staying at night to cover concrete because it was going to freeze because we were working in a cold climate. And, I was 22 years old, not a lot of fun for a 22-year-old to be covering concrete every night.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll work 10 hours and then work, 5 or 6 more trying to cover concrete with the crew that came in at night. So I distinctly remember that. That was tough work. It was not very fun to be climbing around on scaffolding in the dark, trying to cover concrete and masonry to prevent it from freezing. So, a whole bunch of stories like that. But yeah, I think that's the thing, that's important is you have to do the day work and you may have to do some other work. You may have to take your knocks and stay late and keep hustling. So if you're doing project engineering, for instance, and you want to learn estimating, you may have to stay and stay after it to help someone and learn more, and then travel a bit too. I traveled a lot. I went to a lot of tough spots that a lot of people won't go or don't want to go. And, 22 years old, it's not that much fun being on some of those spots, but you do it and you do learn from it for sure. So
Yeah.
it's important.
So the property you did up in Montana, were you on your own at that point, or were you working for somebody else that sent you up there to kind of manage that?
Yeah, interesting. So as a family friend, they had a project and they needed help and knew my background and invited us, my wife and I, and at that time I had, 2 little babies, and they said, you want to come out? And I'm like, yeah, I'll come do it. So we moved out there, just kind of whole thing, and just did it. And I just ran the project and had a great client that was from Seattle that would come in every weekend on a plane and say, just meet me at the ranch and point and click all the stuff he wanted to do. And it was incredible, just a whole bunch of work. But, yeah, it's fun.
How long were you up
Fun
there
stuff.
for?
4.5 years
Oh wow.
Oh, geez.
on the same project. I never left the project.
And where in Montana was it roughly?
It's in Whitefish.
Oh,
outside of
okay.
Whitefish,
Yeah,
Montana.
yeah.
So,
My aunt had a house up in Whitefish for a long time.
yeah. So
Yeah,
fly
beautiful
in
place
just
up
outside
there.
of Kalispell. Oh, it's
Yep.
fantastic. Yeah, I
Yeah.
still go back. I still am there quite often throughout the year.
Was it anywhere near Iron Horse, like that area?
Yeah. The
Okay.
house was not. No, the house was a little bit north of town,
Okay.
about 10 miles outside of town.
She had a house in Iron Horse for a long time.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That place is awesome up there, man. Yeah. So
fantastic.
to get to live there for 4.5 years straight, I mean, well, I mean, obviously pretty cold winters, but
Yeah. My wife's she's pretty adept at the Southern California. Yeah. So at the end,
That was a struggle.
At the end, I was like, hey, either we stay here and start a company, or we go back to Southern California and start one.
She's like, nope, we're out.
Yeah, so, kind of funny story there. So drove from Whitefish, Montana by myself in a U-Haul for 17 hours straight to get back on a Sunday.
Down
So it
395.
took me 2
Yeah.
nights, but yeah, the second day was 17 hours straight. And, she had gone ahead with the family, but then started the company on Monday. I think it was just that quick. So pretty interesting.
Just no time wasted, huh? No recovering from being gone for 4.5
short
years.
vacations, man. There was a nap. He was ready to roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, I got to Vegas in that U-Haul, and I remember distinctly, like, I can do this. And I started listening to music, and I'm like, I'll just keep going. I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, once you get to Vegas, you got like 270 miles.
Yeah,
You're good,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, you might as well go. And you don't want to stop in Vegas. There's no fun in Vegas by yourself. So
Yeah.
you know,
Not according to the wife, for
Yeah,
sure.
right. Yeah.
Not lately.
Yeah.
Not when she's already there with 2 babies. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, no, some fun stories for sure, but all worth it. Fantastic people in my life, and fantastic people that I've been a part of and for so long, and was able to develop a fantastic company and really enjoyed it. But just got to do it again. So ready to roll.
Yeah.
What were some of you had mentioned before just a bit ago about being 22 and working on some of these difficult or maybe not so lovely areas, I guess, so to speak. What were some of these areas that you went to work in, and was it because of these areas that kind of introduced you to the grind, or was that something that was instilled to you when you were younger?
Gosh, I'm gonna, I like to relay it back to, like, yeah, I've always had a good work ethic, and like a lot of young people, it comes from sports.
I was gonna say football.
It's devastating to see the kids right now. I mean, I've got a son right now. He finally just got released to play football his senior year. He's get 6 games.
Jeez.
And it's been devastating for him.
Yeah.
And thinking of how important it was to me and how it impacted my life, and to see it impact his in a positive way, and then so negatively this year. I would say, I think, and it's very important to me that kids do play sports. I think they get a lot out of it, a lot of leadership skills. I know a lot of corporations and companies that look for athletes that at least have that experience, because they feel like they really have, some respect or understanding of what it takes to work hard, and get a result.
Yep.
And, so I do think that was very important for me. And I recall distinctly, being just a, pretty typical kid, and then all of a sudden getting to play football, and it's like, wow, this is great. I get respect. I earned my keep. You get what you put in, and I thought that was just a fantastic way to go. It was a lot of fun.
Well, especially if you get started young enough, right, and you're playing through high school, where you have to perform well, obviously, in the classroom, right, to play as well. So you're kind of managing your time as well as the leadership part. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you were pretty clear about mentioning that you tore your ACL late in high school, right, before you went to college. Yeah, which makes me think that I mean, were there plans to play football beyond high school? I mean, it sounds like that.
Yeah.
The guy that plays third string running back doesn't say, "Man, I tore my ACL right. It was my senior year," right? Like that's usually not something he brings up.
I mean, back then it was a little different. You didn't have as much support. So I tore my ACL the last game of my senior year, and I was playing at USD.
Yeah.
And play football, and that was my plan. I was like, I'm going to USD. I'm playing football, and I was excited about it. And then when I tore the ACL, I was like, well, now I don't really understand what to do next. At that time, you didn't get the support that you do now physically,
right?
As far as, rehab and things like that. So I really didn't know what to do. And that's where the story gets a little interesting, because then I decided, well, all my buddies are going to Chico, so I guess I'm going to Chico. And I literally went to Chico orientation and had never been there. Like I went to orientation.
Yeah, this sounds
Sight
good. Why not?
unseen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the true story about construction was, at this orientation, we went to a party, of course, with one of my buddy's friends, his older brother, and he mentioned construction management. I'm like, oh, that sounds good. Engineering, business, I'm in. I like that. That fits me pretty well. And he goes, well, we're having a keg tomorrow at the park with all the teachers. Why don't you come over and check it out? And it's like, well, that's how it happened. So
That's awesome.
So
A keg of beer got you into construction. There it is.
Keg of beer and a softball game, and I was in construction and hooked. So that's how it went.
That's pretty awesome, man.
I feel like though that's a pretty a good transition in terms of going from sports, a very contact sport like football, but also very cerebral, right? In terms of having a game plan, prepping for each week, all that stuff. But in terms of that transition to construction, I mean, you're up early, you're grinding, you're working hard, right? But like to your point earlier, there's a lot of thought process and planning and thinking that goes into each project, and even elements of each project. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it just sounds like it almost kind of fell in your lap in a lot of ways, that it kind of worked out. You know what I mean?
Crazy. No, some crazy coincidences and for good fortune.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure. For sure.
You have to put yourself in those positions to be fortunate. And I think I might not be the smartest person in the room, but I will work hard and hopefully that gets me where I want to go. But I probably will never be the smartest person, but I will certainly work.
You don't have to be, right? You hire the smart people, right? You hire the good people and bring them on board with you.
Work together with them, and learn from them, and that helps a ton. But I would say, again, kind of falling back on the sports thing, it is important, and you do learn more importantly than anything is the leadership.
Yeah.
And I can't emphasize that enough to my son and my daughter. Like, leadership and your relationships are just critical. Like, you've got to understand this. A simple story this week, it's incredible, really. It's incredibly sad. Sorry to fall back on the COVID, but my son, being a senior, they opened his school on Monday. He was allowed to go one day a week. He went on Monday, sent a picture. He's the only one in the classroom.
Really?
Nobody's there. And he said, Dad, no one's here. I said, I don't care. You stay there.
Yeah.
You get it done. I said, you start reaching out to your buddies and you get them in there. But he said, I'm only allowed here once a week. So he's literally, he's only there once a week.
That's crazy.
His buddies are starting to go. Like, I think we're going to see a push but that's what it means to be a leader. He's playing football every day now. He's starting to get into that again. But man, that leadership stuff that you learn from sports and school as well, it's just critical to kids.
Yeah.
Is your wife involved in the business at all, or does she help out?
Very, very supportive, not involved.
Yeah.
Very, very supportive, very knowledgeable. Fortunate, her entire, none of my family's in construction, and her entire family is. So
really?
It's kind of an odd thing. Yeah. Her dad was a very, very well-known public works contractor for years and years with, a variety of large public works contracting firms. Her brother's a very large general contractor in Sacramento, very well-respected person. Her whole family. It's crazy.
That's cool, though.
So she's pretty familiar with the whole thing. Yeah, she's got it.
That's fun, man. So what's the future look like for you guys? Where are you planning? I mean, obviously growth, right? But I mean, are there goals? Yeah. Are there goals financially or regionally or?
Gosh, it was so interesting. Like, a week or so ago or a couple weeks, starting to add employees, and then we sit down and I sat everyone down. I was like, guys, we have no culture. There is none. Like, we haven't done anything yet. So It's really interesting to rebuild a culture from ground zero again. I'm not a big planner. I'm a active, person that's going to keep things moving and keep working and just modify as you go. So we're not mission statements, all that kind of stuff is really not where it's at for me. I want people to work hard. I want them to have those opportunities and help shape the company. And, I've always said, put great people together and just see what they can do. And I'm not saying I'm the best. I just want to put them in a position to do what they do. And so to answer your question, what's the plan? I mean, that's the plan. Put great people together and just
execute.
Watch them execute and help them where I can. Just kind of just give them little taps to move along. But I'm not certainly going to tell them where to go. So it remains to be seen. It's exciting.
That's fun, man. Well, I like that. We're not about mission statements or anything like that. I mean, you seem like an action guy, right? Like the mission statements are for the guys in the office to say, hey, this should be our culture and this is what it should look like. And instead you're out there like, no, this is our culture, and me busting my ass right next to you and doing the work with you.
Build it.
Yeah.
We won't. It's like I kind of equated it to like the unwritten rules of baseball. It's like kind of these things that you just don't talk about.
Right.
You got to feel it. It's got to be in your gut, and you got to know what it means. And if you don't, I can't put it on the wall for you. You know what I mean? That's not going to get there, but you'll feel it.
Yeah.
You'll feel it.
Do you feel like you're pretty good at kind of evaluating that when you're bringing somebody on?
Nobody's perfect with that. You certainly do your best, but I kind of have a mentality, slow to hire and quick to fire.
Yeah.
If I'm very careful and very knowledgeable about who's coming aboard, but if it's not right, it's not right, and it won't last.
Well, it sounds like a lot of what you're doing from a hiring standpoint right now is a lot of references and people referring into you because they know how you operate. So it sounds like you probably got a little bit of a head start on that stuff, right? Yep. You're not just pulling people from Indeed or Craigslist.
It is. And I think, my wife probably put it best because, I'm like, gosh, we're starting over. I'm going to zero. She goes, no, you're 0 plus 1.
Right. For sure. Yeah.
So it's true. And it's been quick. That's why it's a little bit, more on fire than what a traditional startup would be, for sure.
Yeah, you're not 22. Yeah, I mean, you've got plenty of history. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You got history behind you.
And the confidence and the systems. And,
I think that's the bigger thing right there, too, is the confidence, right?
Yeah, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, the things that we can accomplish now, how quickly. I mean, to add a little story to it. So when I left this particular project. I was responsible for doing all the CPM scheduling, and quite honestly, no one else knew how to do it. So when I went back to get my master's, I was in Chico living in just a dumpy basement, but they had me doing the scheduling remote. And back then it was, the dial in modem use to dial in to do the scheduling. So, the technology has just changed tremendously and given us so many opportunities, but that's how it used to be. We used to have to do that crazy stuff,
Yep. Yeah. You may be startup now, but I feel like to kind of coinciding with that confidence piece, like you're not sitting around kind of laboring over a decision for a few days because you're not sure what it's going to do. Like you've been there, you've done that, you've seen it, what I mean? Like you can make those quick decisions pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm still learning, still improving and still learning and really excited to see what's available to us. Cause like I said, for so long, construction was so far behind, the technology just never was getting to us. And even if it was there, we didn't know how to get to it. We just couldn't figure that out. But it seems like finally we've gotten to a point where, things have really advanced. It really advanced socially, the networking, the communication. I think
podcasts with contractors. All
much crazy communication going on. That's been improving day in, day out. And, I think that's a huge change for everyone. And you still have to keep learning. It's changing quick,
Very cool, man. Well, we appreciate your time. We'll let you run, but we want to make sure we give you a chance to let everybody know where to find you, whether it's your website or social media or whatever else you got, or how to get a hold of you guys.
Yeah, probably the best thing is just LinkedIn, just attaching to me or connecting to me on LinkedIn. That's really the best way, because I think, our goal right now is to build up our LinkedIn page as well for Destination West and keep the content moving, keep it dynamic, keep it fresh, keep people up to date of what projects we have coming up or what we're up to. And then I think that's probably the best and easiest way. I mean, there's, like I said, the website's pretty static. But social media, in particular through LinkedIn right now, has been something we're growing as a company and getting everybody on board and improving everybody's, profiles and sites and getting everything set up properly. But that's the best for sure.
Awesome. Very cool, man. Well, we appreciate it. Thanks so much, Jon. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to following you and seeing where this rocket ship takes you over the next few years, for sure.
Yeah.
Certainly will be interesting. I'm open to it. And I think there's some fantastic people that are jumping on that are just like, man, this is going to be great. So I'm looking
very cool.
I appreciate it, guys. It was really cool.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
thanks
you for coming.
We'll keep in touch and stay safe out there for sure.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Jon.
so much.
Have a good one.
Take care, guys. We'll see you.
Bye.
Thanks, Jon.
Hey, thanks for listening. And if you've made it this far, go ahead and give us a like or 5 stars or whatever means you like us.
Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. And check out our website for more video content and extras.
While you're there, shoot us a message if you want to be a guest. We'd love to have you on.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.